Progressive Caucus Chair and Defund the Police advocate Representative Pramila Jayapal, Democrat, Washington, reportedly spent over $45,000 this year alone in campaign donations to fortify her home as crime has spiked in Seattle. According to Jayapal's latest Federal Election Commission filing, between January and June, the anti-Semitic congresswoman paid over $23,000 from her campaign funds to an elite Seattle security company, as well as over $17,000 to a fence company for security purposes. Additionally, the squad member paid $4,784 to an alarm system company and $562 to a security camera provider. In May 2020, while the George Floyd riots rocked Seattle, Jayapal told KUOW, the local NPR affiliate, "We have to completely reimagine what community safety looks like," and advocated for shifting significant resources from law enforcement and replacing police with community support. Jayapal added, "I think if that were to happen, then you would see a smaller police force, you would see a better investment in the things that really matter to take on anti-blackness and white supremacy." She also supported the BLM and Antifa rioters who seized control of 6 blocks of the city and formed the deadly Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone later that summer, praising them for standing up and speaking out against police brutality, racism, and anti-blackness. The following year, Jayapal co-sponsored a bill for a federal intelligence probe of white supremacy in law enforcement. In 2022, Jayapal worked to dilute legislation that would increase funding to law enforcement and in 2023 voted to cut military spending. The radical activist has also advocated to decriminalize illegal border crossings. Last month, Jayapal called Israel a racist state, then, following the backlash, claimed she was a victim of racism and sexism. Regarding her own security expenditures, which dwarf all but a few members of Congress, Jayapal told the Seattle Times, "I've had threats against my life, including a man showing up with a gun at my door, and I never in a million years thought that I would need to take such strong steps to protect my safety and security just to be able to do my job, the job that people elected me to do." Last year, a Seattle man was arrested in front of the Congresswoman's home with a loaded .40 caliber handgun. Jayapal added, "I don't think any member should be physically attacked. I think that kind of violence is wrong, everywhere, period." The progressive said she was also increasing security at her Washington, D.C. office. Yet after an assassination attempt against Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh last year and threats on other conservative justices, Jayapal was one of only 27 lawmakers who voted against giving the justices extra security. Her fellow progressives practiced the same hypocrisy of advocating to defund the police, then blowing the bank on spending for their own security. Fellow squad members, including Representatives Cori Bush, Democrat Missouri, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat New York, and Ilhan Omar, Democrat Minnesota, have spent a combined over $1 million from campaign funds on security while advocating to defund the police.